It's the focus is about Lani and the bigger picture, women's boxing in New Zealand. We can build strong foundations here if America and the huge promoters over there recognize this little place, at the bottom of the world, then that's going to create pathways for our future wahine going forward. And that's what I've always wanted.
Well, joining us today, whānau, very special guest, our female wahine tour boxer here from New Zealand, Daniella Smith. Kia ora e hoa. Welcome to the show. First of all, Daniella, it is so good to see you back on the scene. We're going to get into the mahi that you and Lani are getting into ahead of this historic, iconic title fight. But I first wanted to start with you. How are you and how's life in the far north?
It's busy at the moment. So I work in the prison during the day delivering programs to our tāne. And then as soon as I finish, I'm in the car and off to the gym to help with a small group of boxers that are supporting Lani Daniels in her world title fight.
Amazing. Cool. When did you make the move to Kaikohe again? It's been a few years now.
It has, and I can't believe that I'm still here.
Still doing boxing.
No, when I first moved, I would drive to work or walk to work, and I'd be like, what have I done? My life is just, it's like, what have I done to my life? Like, wow. And I hated it probably for the first year. And I didn't hate my new job. I just wasn't good at it and I wasn't used to that. So that was really tough for me. And I thought I would be amazing.
Yeah. Well, you're your own worst critic. So.
And I think I was trying to look for some good in my work and I was like, oh man. Because now looking back at the younger lady trying to be a facilitator in a prison space, and honestly, I just wanted to be all their bros, and I wanted them to like me, and wanted to be nice to them. So it was like that's not your job.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those kind of guys knew who I was. Some of them would see me walk past and they'd start shadow boxing in the prison. And they'd be like, yeah, you're here to take us for boxing. And I'd be like, nah. They're like, what are you here for then?
But how are you finding it now?
I'm finding my feet. I think I'm on my feet. I'm a senior facilitator now, so I've reached the top of the levels, if you want to look at it like that.
You're doing something right then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a slow bloomer, but I came to the party in the end. So it's been challenging because you got to remember a lot of the guys that I would take on my programs or see in prison, I probably boxed with some of them. That's that demographic. We box, with all walks of life, and that was pretty hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it's a different kind of connection too, I'm guessing, that when you go in there, and I can see why you would be like, you want them to like you or you want them to get along with you on that level of like a whānau kind of level, rather than you being the professional or whatever, because that community is so small as well.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. And then also you're dealing with your colleagues who actually, they don't understand. They don't really know they can't work it out. Because you don't I didn't really at that stage tell them much about me with boxing. So they didn't really know. And then the more and more they found out, because people from home, they know because you're theirs, And so when they discovered it, they were like, why did you never tell us that? So I wanted to start with a blank slate.
Yeah. This is me. Well, it's good. It's good that, there's been an escalation and you're finding your feet. with your mahi up there. And as you say, the transition to move, from the city up to the far north would be a tough one. But how rewarding has it been to go home, Daniella?
Yeah. It's really interesting. My manager, she wanted to know who Daniella Smith was. So I took her for a walk around Kaikohe, and we walked past the urupa, and I just said, that's where my mum and my brother are. And so I'm home. This is my whenua. When I go, that's where I'm going to be buried. And then we walk through the park where all the people are drinking. There's like, there were some people drinking, and they're all coming up, fist pumping, man. They're going, dance, and all this. And I'm just like, hi, guys. And then we walk past, and it's like, oh, yeah, I went, oh, yeah, there's my, they call it the Hall of Fame. And there's my portrait up in the Hall of Fame. My sister-in-law's there, and a couple of other, sporting greats from the north. I swear there was some that weren't from the north too, but anyway.
Of the
Yes,
whānau.
yeah, it's like, oh, tato, we'll have them too. Yes, so she was just like, oh, wow. And then we're walking downtown, and people are just coming up to me and saying hello and shaking my hand and stuff. And I said to her, look, this doesn't normally happen. It must just because they're seeing me walking with this white lady, they think you must be important. So they're just coming up to me.
Is this TV? Is this?
I said, I can walk down the street some days, and all I get are, is I get the eyebrows. That's about it. I said, this is next level. Yeah.
Well,
It's my home, and
yeah.
I love being home. I love being close to my dad. My moko, who I get to pick up from school sometimes and drop off because she's now 5. Yeah. So I'm home, and it feels right. I'm in the right place for me.
Yeah. And then, speaking of feeling right, here comes Lani Daniels with a title shot, and you've become her coach.
Yeah.
Is that another little blast from the past?
Well, yeah. I mean, Lani reached out to me, and she said, would you help me? And because I thought, I don't know if I can commit to coaching her for a world title fight. I went, yeah, I can help you. I, I'll, I said, and she's like, I'll pay you. And I said, don't you dare even think about it. It's just, this is not what I do, why I do it. I do it because I love it. So, we met up at the gym, and so Talia, my daughter, and Trisha Vaka, who hasn't officially retired from professional boxing, but had joined the camp, and Remus Leaf, a young professional boxer from up here who's very good. And that just really lifted and helping Lani to excel in every training session, because I just said to her, if you want to be a world champion, and I said, you know what it's like to be a world champion, but we've got to step up. We've got to have that champion mindset and that champion environment. So that's what we've hoped to create. And and the team have stepped up. It's been really beautiful to watch.
Yeah. Well, you say Lani knows what it's like to be a world champion. So do you, Daniella, our first ever female boxing champion here in Aotearoa. How much is that expertise, that wisdom, that experience, critical to Lani when it comes to big fights like this, which, is 100% that big step up, level up in America?
Yeah. So I have never coached in a world title fight. I've fought in a couple. I've won one.
You did all right, yeah.
The big stage, doesn't phase me. I'm comfortable there. I'm quite confident that together, alongside her whānau, who are a huge part of who Lani Daniels is, her identity, that we, together, we are going to support her through to complete this journey. Firstly, can I just say I've never fought the GOAT. I have never been on that stage before. I've never fought Clarissa Shields. So Lani Daniels has been on bigger stages than Daniella Smith. However, Lani views me with mana and respect. And, you know, she listens to me when we talk. She takes on board the feedback I give. And sometimes that feedback can be very, how should I put it, very overt and to the point.
Needs to be.
Yeah, for example, the other day, you know, she's doing, so that she'd done 12 rounds of sparring with boys and the girls. And then she does these quick fire rounds, you know, they're 1 minute, they're fast. And it's all about speed, 30 seconds rest, now another one's back in. And she was a bit fatigued by the end of all the sparring. And I pulled her to the corner, and I didn't say it quietly either. I just said, Lani, you are a world champion. They're Nigel nobodies. I mean, one of them's my daughter, see, and I felt a bit stink about that. I said, on an international stage, they are. I said, they're Nigel nobodies. You go and show them what it's like to get in the ring with a world champion. I said, only 2 people in this gym know what that's like. And she just went out there and she just annihilated them. And afterwards I said, you know, sometimes we got to do things for love, team. Have a cuddle. The girls are really good about it. They really are. And you know, and the boys, they're very close. They're there to support her. That they are very well aware of.
I'm getting quite the sense of that whanaungatanga vibe that you're trying to instill in this camp, something that would be critical to a fighter like Lani, who knows that all too well growing up in a small town with a big whānau. She would 100% relate to that mentality. Is that, you know, kind of the approach that you're taking, that, you know, you're both wahine Māori, you both understand the kaupapa. Whanaungatanga is a huge part of that, of who you are as people, and that will translate into the ring.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting. I've been using Sir Mason Jury's Te Whare Tapawha model and Lani really connects well with it. So we're looking at her overall well-being, not just her in the ring, her fitness. She started boxing with me, obsessed about fitness, and I said, okay, Taiwa, what's happening in these other, you know, taha or areas of well-being? And we broke it down, and there was some work that was required, and there was some healing that was required. You know, I feel through that mahi, I actually brought one of my colleagues in to help me facilitate that session, and it really was we both felt effective, and Lani has taken it on board, and she really, she understands it and connects with it.
Right. That seems really powerful, and probably more than she ever expected to get out of coming to you for that.
So, her older sister said, you got to remember there's a method to her madness. Because I said that to her, I said, there's a method to my madness, Lani. She goes, my sister just said that the other day. Yeah.
But she'll get it. She'll get it. She knows what that means. She probably didn't realize how much she needed it.
Yeah. And so now we've brought on, different coaches because so there's a coach for her breathing, because whilst I can provide her with some of my experience from when I was fighting, that's not an area that it's not my area of expertise. So, that's been something to help her. And I can see how beneficial the breathing will be. It was a huge part of my training. I was fortunate. Swimming is how I practiced my breathing. We've also, the Rongo Māori has been a part of the healing for any injuries and things like that. So, there's that connection to Papatonuku and a connection to her wairua. So
Mm,
it encompasses all areas of health, but still respecting that she is wahine Māori.
mm, mm.
And what works for Maori might not work for everyone, but it is working for Lani. So we're both pleased with the approach.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I obviously visited her in the lead up to her fight against Clarissa Shields with her former coach at her former gym. And, she was absolutely happy. She loved that environment. A lot of love for Rebel and a lot of years together. But I did wonder what made her come your way. Why did she need the change or, perhaps the way you're talking, a better connection perhaps?
I don't necessarily think she came my way. I think she went home. You needed to go home and heal. And sometimes healing is just rest. Sometimes healing is just being around the laughter of your whānau, and just spending that time with her family, having mum cook for you again. All those beautiful things that really empower your wairua and uplift you. That's what I think she needed. It just so happens I live down the road and there's not a lot of coaching options in the far north. And we have a connection through for many years. And so she reached out to me. Yeah, so that's what I think it is. I think it was Lani's family are so important to her, and that huge part of her Te Whare Tapawha or her well-being was missing.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. If Fano, if you've ever watched Lani Daniels perform in her boxing fights, Pipiwai is always plastered all over her branding, on her kakahu, on signs. It's always, haka, kapa haka when she's walking out and finishing her fights. Her taha Māori has been integral to her boxing career this far, and she's always carried that with her. So it's really amazing to see that she gets to really do this for herself. She's always been about the village. So it's really cool to see that she's going to find that within herself. And you probably know more than anybody, Daniella, once you get that sussed and you do have that internal, confidence about who you are, where you're from, and you're happy in tow, that would make for a, 100% better fighter in you.
Most definitely. And seeing her relax when she comes into training and seeing her smiling and walking around the gym, so humble. These young rangatahi are like looking at her. She just goes around, fist pumps you, and even says, I remember watching you fight it. And you just see their faces change, and it's really beautiful, So she's not too big or for to go and speak to the junior boxers and things and empower them.
Yeah, amazing. When things like this happen in my life, I always call it, I always go like this. And it's like a tupuna intervention. And I'm just like, there's just moments where you feel that it's just meant to be. This is exactly where we're supposed to be doing this right now in this time and space. So I feel like this is kind of what's happened for her in the moment. And you're obviously a catalyst for that. So that's amazing. And to do all of this through the sport of boxing, Daniela, even more special.
Most definitely. And it's funny that it's kind of all just dawned on me. So she said to me, I think you're just trying to be nice to me because she said, I'm tough. I can take it. And I said to her, well, what do you want me to be, your mother? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're a grown-up. I'm going to help you in the ring, but you want to have a Coca-Cola or ride a motorbike, that's you are an adult. You make those decisions. I'm not going to tell you what to do. And she laughs at me. I said, I'm not your mother. And so she had to relearn to stop asking me for permission.
Yeah.
Because I said, no, I said to her, stop asking. You're an adult. Ask yourself.
Yeah. Take that mana back guilt.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And even if you don't you feel like you don't have it yet, pretend you do. And then then you'll start. Yeah. Because that's what I would do. I'd turn up to places and I'd be like, oh, this is a bit freaky. I never forget being in Africa and like the crowds were like all over like that, all over you.
Mm.
And I just remember going, fake it till you make it. Act like you're not scared. Act tough.
Yep. Yeah. Own the
And
room.
it's just, and then I started to feel it.
Yeah. Daniella, what are you getting out of this? Well, are there things that you're, tapping into the old reserves and going, oh yes, this, like what are you getting out of having this hiding or journey so far with Lani?
I don't know whether I'm like, every time I used to train Trisha for a fight, I'd just do some rounds on pads, or I'd throw them, show her how to throw combinations, and I'd say, yeah, I smell a comeback. I smell a comeback. And they'd all laugh. And actually one day my daughter goes, no, Mum, you really are punching like really hard. You should. And then the next day I was injured, so limping around. I went, there's no comeback. So this time it has never been at any moment about me. It's the focus is about Lani and the bigger picture. Women's boxing in New Zealand. There's Mia, there's Lani, there are current champions. And it's about the future champions. If we can build strong foundations here, if America and the huge promoters over there recognize this little place, at the bottom of the world, then that's going to create pathways for our future wahine going forward. And that's what I've always wanted.
Yeah. That visibility, right, is step one to, if we can't see it, how do we achieve it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I saw there was a press release dropped, MVP Promotions, obviously backing this fight, and their big deal with ESPN and women's boxing. And obviously Lani Daniels is now in the thick of it, coming up against Shadisha Green. It's an amazing time to be a female boxer. Well, it's always been an amazing time to be a female boxer.
But now, let's get real.
But now,
Let's get real,
now, the tides are finally starting to turn. Female boxers are being seen as, yes, they are athletes, but they are also entertaining. And now Lani Daniels is set, to make history in New York of all places. The mecca of boxing sport anywhere in the world. And here are these two Māori, wahine going to go over there and conquer the world, basically. That's crazy cool, and so it should be at the same time.
Pretty cool when you say it. Yeah, these two Māori are going to go over and conquer the world. And you know what? That's what we are going to do. You're right. We're going to conquer the world.
Yeah. Yeah. At the Big Apple. Your thoughts, Daniella? Obviously, you'll be looking at Shadisha. She's a very impressive, decorated fighter, 2-time IBF, WBO super middleweight champion, of course, and is going to be fighting, Lani Daniels from Pipiwai. And of course, that fight with Clarissa Shields kind of put Lani on the map. Clarissa couldn't put Lani away. She didn't get the result, but she couldn't be put away either. Not many women can say that. And Lani Daniels went in there and she owned that moment. But I'm just wondering, with everything that you're looking back on in terms of her performance, what you see with Shadisha, what we can expect to see perhaps come April.
Okay, I knew you were going to ask me that question. How much do I give away?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we do have a game plan, and we are aware that sometimes you're in the ring and you're faced with something different, and so the game plan doesn't really work. And I never forget David Tua saying to me, your friend, David. I remember him saying to me, you know, don't study the videotapes too much because something else could come whānau. So we've got a couple of sort of contingency plans, plan A, plan B, a few options off of that. But I've talked to a few people and I feel the game plan that we have is quite solid. Trying to get, how much do I say? Will Shadisha Green listen to this? If Shadisha Green is listening, she's just going to run around the ring like she did with she's not. That's the plan. Although it might take a round like that just for Lani to settle because it's a huge stage. And if that happens, that's okay.
Mm.
You know,
Three
because I don't
3-minute
think she got hurt.
Yeah. Oh, her ducking and weaving, oh my goodness. If you could score points on the amount of weaves she did, she would have been set. But it's 3-minute rounds? Is
Yes,
that
it
right?
is. Yep,
Yeah.
that's history too. No
Yeah.
other woman has fought 3-minute rounds in boxing for a world title.
And that has been debated for many, many years. There were talks of it maybe happening with the Serrano-Katie Taylor fight. Obviously, it didn't happen. So do you know what the catalyst was for that? Or did they just go, yeah, we're going to do it? Like,
Sure, why they made that decision, because for me, Jake Paul's about money and entertainment, and the 2-minute rounds are actually more entertaining. So I'm a little surprised by that decision. And I'm a little surprised because I would assume that 3-minute rounds aren't favourable to Shadisha Green.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe it was something stipulated within the contract with ESPN. Maybe it's they want to get men and women's boxing to be seen as equal. I mean, it's got a long way to go before then, but it's steps in the right direction. Um, Look, I don't know if I'm out of the loop with that, but
Yeah. Well, I've been trying to look for the research. There's just nothing on it. It's just 3 minutes now, but
but you think about it, Jake Paul is a bit about the shock factor, eh? And
absolutely.
he
Yeah.
also wants to be the first one to do stuff.
Yeah.
It could be a bit of that. It
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be a bit of that.
Considering Amanda Serrano is his fighter, she might have had something to do with it, or her and a convoy of others, perhaps. They might have said, hey, we want to fight 3-minute rounds. Who knows? But yeah, here we are, 3-minute rounds, and Lani's going to be the first to do it in a title fight. That's just mind blowing. Like, even just saying it is, she's going to be the first in the world to ever do it, and that's just something that's never going to be taken away from her, and she's going to be in the history books forever. It's
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
blooming good.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
I mean, Baby Nansen, she fought at Madison Square Garden a few years back. But other than that, I don't think any other New Zealand woman has fought at Madison Square Garden. So that's huge.
It's absolutely enormous. But like you say, what this will mean for New Zealand women's boxing in terms of seeing what Lani's doing and knowing that there's going to be this pathway now is very, very exciting. I just wanted to ask you about Lani's past performances, and I'm not asking you for, game plan stuff with Shadisha Green, but what have you maybe picked up or noticed or recognized that you've really wanted to work with Lani? I know you've spoken about her, the taha wairua, the Whare Tapawha model that you're already doing with her. But what are some of the things perhaps physically you've recognized and you go, okay, we need to work on this?
Okay, so day one, I said to Lani, I've never moved the way you move. You have beautiful movement. It is unbelievable.
Yeah,
I
it is.
do not want to take that away from you. I don't want to take away the Lani Daniels that shines in that ring. I want her to stay because that's got her to this place. And all the other coaches that have helped you with that journey to get to this point. What I would like to do is because I was watching her and I was like, I want to add add some movement, some angle changes, some combinations that that ensure that she is off center or in a position not to get hit, to set up shots to hit. And just repetition, repetition, repetition.
Nice.
But not repetition the same way every day, providing a different stimulus. Not all the time do I want you jumping up and down, because if you're jumping up and down all the time, your power, where does it go, Lani? Up in the air. So sometimes we have to sit on our shots, and it's sometimes her leg feet are in tires because so she can't jump. Sometimes she's having to box throw combinations with using a tennis ball. Sometimes, she's on pads with me. Sometimes she's on the bag. There's just a variety of ways in which we're giving her something fresh every day, but still it's repetition. And then one day a week, is it one day? One day a week she trains with two training sessions, two boxing training sessions she trains with her sister. I've watched it and I'm okay with it because that's their connection. And they are working on the similar stuff that I'm trying to include into her repertoire. It's just giving her a bigger arsenal to work with. She said to me on Saturday, she came to my whare to train, and she said to me, how do you know which one to use? And I said, right, up the top of your head, they're up there in laser. And you just pick them down, which one is the best one in the moment. That's how fast the brain can work. And and she's just like, oh. And it's funny sometimes, like you see this amazing boxer, then you say something, and she's just like, that's mind blowing. And I'm like, are you for real? Like, have you not watched yourself before? Like, I think you already do this, Lani. And she's just like, I don't intentionally do it or know I'm doing it. So a lot of Lani's boxing has been quite based on natural ability.
Instinctual.
Yeah. So I just want her to be a little bit more strategic, because Monty brought that to my fight game. He would be like, right, you're standing there. Why are you standing there? And I'd be like, I don't know. What are you going to ask me? And he's like, okay, so what's the purpose of it? Always intentional. So what are you trying to set up? What's the track? So that's what I'm trying to add a little bit in to this fight camp without overloading her mind with too much information, just supplementing it really is.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. Look, congratulations to you both. This is an amazing achievement, and I can't wait to see Lani's performance, and I can't wait to hear, about what she has to say about this camp. And you can already tell she'll be able to get, so much growth out of it. And I know that she's been with her last, regime for many, many years, but man, sometimes just adding some new things to the kete can always be, a great, wonderful and positive thing for her. And it really looks like this is something that's going to be tailor-made to her perfectly. So congratulations to you as well.
Thank you. And I don't want to take away from past coaches.
No, not at all.
She's had some really good coaches. John Conway, Cameron Todd, Nabby from Hamilton. I think Lolo helped her at one point, so there's been a lot of really good coaches that have supported Lani in this journey. So it's I'm just lucky that I'm ready now for this amazing boxer to work with her, and I'm lucky. My job are really supportive of giving me time to do it too.
Yeah, amazing. Before I let you go, Daniella, what do the next few weeks look like now? Have you set up like a schedule, for your, pacing it out to the end, or and when does she go over for that first initial face to face? Like, how what's the schedule looking like?
So we all arrive in New York on the 13th, and pretty much every day we're expected for media. There's media expectations of press releases, media, just all these media expectations. I don't even know the names of them all.
Yeah.
And
Many.
yes, there's something every day building up to fight night. Like it's quite a lot of promo work. So when everyone's like, "Are you going to go here? Are you going to go there?" I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to have the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the focus is boxing. But the focus is also, to enjoy the surroundings as well. Because New York's a beautiful city, and I never thought I'd get to go back. So I'm buzzing about that.
Amazing. I'm happy for you, Daniella. As soon as Lani messaged me and said that you two were making this collaboration, I was just like, you know what? This is something that I didn't know that I wanted to see. And it's a beautiful thing. So
Yeah, well, I thought that wasn't my world anymore. I thought I'd said to you later, but that world keeps knocking on my door, man. And I'm just like,
remember what I said? Tupuna intervention.
That's right.
But thank you so much for your time, Daniella. All the best, and hopefully we'll catch up again as well.